What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George here from MMA Junkie Radio, reporting for duty. Today we get to talk to the guy that's going to kick off, or he already has kicked off, Dana White Contender Series Season 8. This is Lone'er Kavanagh, who's coming off a vicious KO in the first fight last week. Congratulations, Lone'er, man. That's one hell of a way to kick off a season.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, it was a surreal experience.
Yeah, and you saw the reaction obviously from Dana White. Think about how many fights he's seen, and now we're in season 8. He sits down and right away you put him in a damn good mood. You know what I'm saying? You could already tell your ticket was punched from the minute you landed that leaping left hook.
Yeah. Like when I went down and spoke to Dana afterwards, the only thing he said was like, "I just look at my notes," and all it said was in big was like, "Holy shit!" So that was a good sign, right?
Yeah. Well, you being from Britain, you reminded me of you remember Paul Daly?
Yeah, I know Paul Daly, yeah.
Simtex. Do you know him personally, or?
Yeah, I've met him a few times.
He's got a great lead left hook, man. And you reminded me of that when you threw yours. I mean, it was like sharp, crisp, and boom, cracked him on the jaw.
Oh, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. Paul Daly's a legend of the game.
He sure is. And I know you want to obviously create your own legacy, your own style. Some fighters don't like comparisons, but then some do. So I got to ask, how about you growing up? Did you ever point to a fighter and go, I like his style, whether it's the way he fought, the way he conducted himself, or maybe did you model your game after anyone?
I don't think I've modeled my game after anyone. I like to think that, like, as a fighter, my fighting style is quite like it's different to most fighters. So I wouldn't say like my style represents anyone, but I definitely have fighters that I look up to as like role models or fighters that I like their style of. Like, for example, like Max Holloway is one of my favorite fighters. I think his whole like aura and like thing around him is awesome. So seems so chill. I love it. I know he lost on the weekend, but like the way he like carries himself and stuff like that. I like Izzy a lot. I like Ilia Topuria. I think his boxing is insane. There's an endless list of fighters that I like and like stealing from their games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then when I'm scrolling through your Instagram, I see pictures with Brad Pickett, one of the OGs of MMA in Britain, and I wanted to ask you, how big is it now in mixed martial arts? Because back then you'd have Bisping, Hardy, Pickett, and then maybe even a few guys before that, in the earlier Ali Murray, who got in trouble. I don't know if you remember him, but I'm going back a bit now. But how big is MMA now in Britain? Now that you guys have world champions, Tom Aspinall, Leon Edwards had his run, Bisping won that title a few years ago. How big is it now?
No, MMA in the UK has definitely got a lot bigger. Like, obviously, I'm from like the newer generation, so there's always been like MMA around. But even in my time, it's grown like such leaps and bounds since like Leon Edwards, like Conor McGregor as well, Tom Aspinall and stuff like that. So MMA is now massive in the UK. So I'm a pleasure to be a part of it, to be honest with you.
Are there like a ton of gyms as well? And is it like accepted? Like, or are people saying, nah, you got to go to football, you got to go to tennis, you got to go to rugby? Like, or are now like, parents or older brothers or whoever, are they saying, yes, go for it?
I definitely think that's the case now, especially like, it's still martial arts. MMA itself, it seems quite brutal, right? But at the end of the day, it's a martial art. So like, I teach kids as well. So
Nice.
That bring their kids to the gym, they're always like wanting to get their kids competing and stuff like that. So yeah, I think MMA now as a sport has grown so big, and it's now like a mainstream sport instead of like football or like rugby, etc.
Yeah. I've wondered something. Corey Sanhagen also, does stuff with kids. And I've always wondered, did you choose to do that just like as a side hustle? You make money, you get paid for that. Or is it in a way to kind of also keep you grounded? Because you have to show your face to those kids. So you can't go acting like a fool. You kind of want to be an example to them as well.
Of course, yeah. Like I like teaching. Whether it's kids or adults and stuff like that. But especially like when kids want to start competing, and I've almost trained them from the beginning to them getting competing. It's definitely very rewarding to see. Obviously, it is a side hustle as well. I have to make money somehow, but yeah, it's definitely very rewarding to see kids go from quite shy individuals to building
Yeah.
martial arts and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely a pleasure to see.
Is it a case? Do you get a lot of cases where maybe, like you said, you've instilled confidence in kids now? Maybe kids are getting bullied or they're loners or whatever, and now they feel like they're part of something.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like martial arts creates such a good community and such a good I don't want to say like role model, but it definitely builds confidence for kids. Like I've seen kids come in here, they've come in because they get bullied at school or because they're shy, and like them at the beginning of training and them to where they are now, their confidence and has grown massively, and it's always nice to see. Do you know what I mean? Or they come back and be like, oh coach, I don't get bullied anymore. I've got more friends at school.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Wow,
really,
that's the coolest thing, man. Honestly.
no, it's very rewarding.
So you're changing lives. And what was the reception they gave you when you came back after that KO last week?
It's funny because obviously like they have to make sure they're like clear with their parents first. But I have a lot of like my students like they come up to me like, Lord, coach, I watched your fight. I stayed up to watch your fight. That was awesome and stuff like that.
Oh, that's right. The time
And
change. Okay.
yeah, when that happens, I'm like, okay, cool. That's sick.
Because this thing went off at 4 p.m. my time. I'm in Vegas. That means they had to stay up to like midnight.
Yeah, you're literally midnight. Yeah, I think I fought at like 12:15. So
Yeah. Well, they were in bed by 12:16 because it all happened so quick. And
yeah,
your opponent's pretty badass as well, man. So like flyweight is one of the more shallow divisions, but I see a lot of talent coming through, and it was almost a shame that someone had to lose. But I'm hoping that eventually he makes it into the UFC as well. But you were the better man that night.
oh yeah, of course. Anton was a scary opponent coming in. Do you know what I mean? Like he was also unbeaten. He was 6-0. Got some crazy knockouts behind him. I just had a very good team to prepare for the fight, and it wasn't for my coaches that I wouldn't have got the result I did. So
Loney, did you play any other sports as well? You seem pretty athletic. Then you're doing the backflip later on, and I thought you might start breakdancing, showing us some moves. But
unfortunately, I can't dance. Yeah, only my mates I can't dance. But I used to do gymnastics from a young age. My mum got
oh,
gymnastics when I was like 2 or 3. So
uh-huh.
I've always been surrounded by sports my entire life, basically.
How about footy? Did you play football?
I'm shit at football. Sorry for swearing, but I'm so bad at
No
football.
problem. It's the internet. Rugby. How about rugby? There's some more contact there.
Yeah, it's true. No, I don't like the cold. I can't play in like the
Oh,
cold in the UK. It's not like Vegas. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's true. JSP was huge on gymnastics. He swore that upper body strength you can get benefits mixed martial arts. And I think at first he got laughed at a little bit, but then of course the results speak for themselves. George St. Pierre is one of the greatest of all time. But how long did you do gymnastics for?
I did gymnastics for a very long time. I started when I was like 2.
Yeah.
Obviously, like rolling about and stuff, but I did that till I was like 10 or 11. So a good like it set my foundation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Has that upper body strength? Have you noticed it's a difference maker when you do grapple? Like a lot of people would say GSP would feel heavy because he had broad shoulders, big chest, defined back, and again, it all came, he said, from gymnastics training. Have you gotten that type of feedback from your training partners that that you seem to be strong in the torso?
Yeah, I definitely have had that feedback before. So I definitely feel like gymnastics help with that. I think the most thing that it's helped with is just like having like awareness of where your body is. Do you know what I mean? Like when you move and stuff like that. Like yeah, it just gives you that awareness of like, oh, if you're in a position, you're able to like stay relaxed in that position and stuff like that. So it's helped massively with fighting. I think anyway.
Last question. If you and I talk in 1 year, and I actually hope to keep in touch, before and after some of your fights coming up, but let's say right now it's August 2024. Let's say we're talking December 2025. What would you have hoped to have accomplished by then? So about a year and a half, a little under a year and a half. What are your kind of like your short-term goals?
So for me, I've already told my manager, I've already told Jose, the guys at First Round Management, that my goal is to become UFC champ within 2 years. So whatever that I have to do to get there, I'm ready for it. I mean, I take fights. I wanna. I'm not here to stick about. I want to get to the top as fast as I can, basically. So you say a year and a half that I want to be on that path. Hope to be within the rankings. Hoping to be close to those shots.
Do you want to take down Pantoja yourself, or you don't care who holds the belt?
Obviously fighting Pantoja would be awesome. I think he's a great fighter. I think everyone in the flyweight division is a great fighter. But yeah, my goal is solely to get the belt. So whoever's got it at the time.
Yeah, he's on quite a roll. And for a while we were, I don't want to say stuck because that sounds disrespectful, but Demetrius Johnson was just ruling above everyone. You know what I'm saying? For a long time, and then now things got freshened up a little bit with different fighters holding the belt, Moreno, Figueiredo. But now Pantoja seems to kind of have a good stranglehold on it. So it's kind of nice to see everyone climbing that mountain slowly but surely.
Yeah, no, definitely. DJ did it different, but yeah, it's good to see the game evolve.
Loney, really nice to meet you, man. Congrats again on the vicious KO, that left hook, a thing of beauty. As a follower of the sweet science, now a fan of MMA, I can appreciate that nice move, nice punch. It's not, Fedor Emelianenko was good at it. Semtex, we talked about this, a few others, but yeah, you put them down hard, man. I can't wait to see more of that from you. And thanks for the time today on MMA Junkie Radio.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the interview. Appreciate it.